At the turn of the 20th century, South Africa became the stage for one of the most dramatic conflicts of the colonial era, the South African War, or the Second Anglo-Boer War. But what actually caused it? To understand why the war erupted, we need to look at the South African Republic, also known as the Transvaal, in the Orange Free State. These Boer republics were small, independent, and fiercely proud of their autonomy. Meanwhile, the British Empire controlled vast swathes of southern Africa, including the Cape Colony and Natal. Tensions had been simmering between these powers for decades. Then, in 1886, a discovery changed everything: gold in the Witwatersrand. What had been a quiet, sparsely populated region became the epicenter of global economic interest almost overnight. By 1898, the Transvaal was producing over a quarter of the world's gold. Suddenly, the Boers were sitting on a fortune, and the British Empire saw both a threat and an opportunity. Gold wasn't just wealth, it was power. London's financial system depended on it. Banks, investors, and trading companies had a huge stake in controlling the goldfields. For the British, allowing the Boer republics to control this wealth independently was simply unacceptable. The gold rush also brought people. Thousands of British workers, known as Uitlanders, moved into the Transvaal to work the mines. Johannesburg quickly became an English-speaking city in a Dutch-speaking republic. This influx challenged the Boers' culture and autonomy, creating friction that would only grow with time. Political tension rose as British imperialists, like Cecil Rhodes, sought to extend influence. Rhodes, who controlled vast mining interests, financed covert operations like the infamous Jameson Raid of 1895, a failed attempt to overthrow the Transvaal government. While it failed militarily, it succeeded in inflaming Boer fears and uniting them with the Orange Free State. Britain also used economic tools to gain leverage. Railways were extended under the guise of trade and infrastructure, but they were also a way to assert control. The Boers saw this as a direct threat to their independence, building resentment that would eventually turn to war. Economically, the stakes couldn't have been higher. British investments in the Rand were massive. Between 60 and 80% of foreign investment in the mines came from Britain. Controlling the Transvaal meant controlling not just gold, but global trade networks, currency stability, and imperial influence in southern Africa. For the Boers, it wasn't just economics, it was identity. Their conservative, religious, and Dutch-speaking communities faced a wave of English influence. The fear that their culture, autonomy, and political freedoms would be eroded fueled a growing resistance against British encroachment. Historians debate the causes of the war, but most agree that gold was the central trigger. As Eric Hobsbawm notes, the Boer War was largely about wealth, but also about asserting British imperial power. Britain saw no alternative but to bring the gold-rich Transvaal under its control. By the late 1890s, a perfect storm had formed: economic rivalry, cultural tension, political interference, and failed coups like the Jameson Raid. Neither side was willing to back down. In October 1899, war broke out, plunging South Africa into 3 years of conflict, destruction, and suffering. The war would be brutal. Boer guerrilla tactics, British scorched earth policies, and the use of concentration camps left deep scars. But at its heart, it was a war sparked by gold, power, and the clash of two very different visions for South Africa. From the glittering gold of the Witwatersrand to the bloody battlefields, the South African War was more than a military conflict. It was a story of ambition, greed, and the struggle for dominance in an age of empire. Understanding its origins helps us see the forces that shaped South Africa and the world at the dawn of the 20th century.